Hello, I'm Colleen Derrick. I'm a financial advisor with Swagger's Insurance. This month, Orchestrating Expectations, and I'd like to thank Amy for helping with the template for this month's topic. I love the orchestrating theme that she's built in here. So thank you so much for that. I've enjoyed it. I hope you all have enjoyed it as well. So thank you, Amy, for participating and helping us out with this. In week number 1, we discussed integrating common sense when building our expectations, even being aware of our expectations, let alone interacting with them. The second week, we talked about counsel, that again, we by ourselves, we do what we do, but with help of others, like the help of my friend Amy with the template for this month's topic, we get a much better quality in the visuals than we often do when I'm at the helm, because she's gifted in that area. And we work better when we collaborate as a team. That was week number 2 on counsel. Week number 3 was last week, and we called it careful tuning. But it's paying careful attention to the details, the minute logistics. Wonderful quote. Never mind, we're staying on task. So this week we're talking about communication. So for brevity, we'll do a quick run through and get to communication. Applying common sense, that common sense was reasonable, appropriate, and prudent. We can remember those 3. And then that our counsel is good because we are biased. We are vulnerable to being in the emotions, the moods, and that we're fallible. We're not perfect. And so it's great to have a checks and balance system in place. And then the careful tuning, that we're carefully expecting, we're paying attention, we're giving the due diligence that is appropriate here. And that we shouldn't be copying and borrowing, that expectations come from inside of us. And when we try to layer someone else's on, it's like wearing another lady's leggings. You know, they may cover the parts, but they're sure not going to be that comfortable, and they're going to be stretched out in areas maybe you didn't want them stretched out. That's all I'm saying on that one. And then careful tuning, that we should be crafted for implementation, taking this out of the realm of philosophy or theory. This is the groundwork of our journey. This week, we're conducting communication. Proverbs 18:13 tells us, if one gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly and shame. What does that mean? Listen first, then think, then act. Especially in the world of texting and messaging, where we can respond in an instant, pausing can change the course of an interaction. When we're playing in a band or in an orchestra, we need to listen to those around us. Singing in a choir, we need to listen to those around us. If we just go off on our own little journey, it's not going to work. When we go off moving forward with our expectations before communicating, it's not going to work that well. We need to be attuned to others, attuned to ourselves, attuned to the environment, and attuned to the situation. So why is this important? Let's go with what I've actually written here rather than another little tangent. Many people like others and are happy to pitch in. People generally, if you're walking down the street and you smile at someone, they're generally going to smile back. My mom totally talks about this all the time. She says I'll get back to my writing in a minute. She just goes through life expecting people to be nice to her, to treat her with dignity and respect. She goes about her life being nice to people, treating them with dignity and respect. And guess what her experience with the world is? People are nice to her. They treat her with dignity. They treat her with respect. Isn't that incredible how she has that expectation, and she just communicates it to others by her words, her facial expressions, her demeanor, her actions and interactions. Just her very being expresses that expectation. She lives it out and she receives that back. What an incredible impact. what an incredible example. My mother's an amazing mentor. And so just a shout out to my mom today as well. Wow, she's incredible. She's awesome. And I just love her and appreciate her so much. She is so worthy of honor and respect and the niceness that people give her, because she is just genuine. She's just genuine in her. Well, back to what I've written. So generally, most people like others and are happy to pitch in and make things work for people. Too often, a lack of communication of expectations interferes and causes conflict. So I've had a number of teenage boys who are part of my family, part of my extended family, who are part of our friend base, who have lived with us. And the reason I'm bringing that to note is because I've noticed the interactions with a number of these teenage boys based on their expectations. Same environment, same town, same high school, same community, and yet their interactions are completely different. Completely different. Their demeanor, their choice of words, their phrasing in their language, their tone of voice. In our home, you did not have to call me mom if you were having a cranky day and you didn't want to honor me as mom. Hey, that's your choice. Doesn't change the fact I'm your mother. But you don't have to call me mom. You may call me ma'am. That's acceptable. Because I have an expectation of dignity and respect in this home. I give it and I expect it returned. You can expect it from me. And if I'm not delivering, you can call me on that. But there will be dignity and respect in the language. I did not require pleases and thank yous in the language, but I sure did in the tone and the attitude. I will toss out a please and a thank you in a surly tone with a cranky, rebellious nature any day. But I will easily overlook the lack of a please and a thank you when the tone and the attitude and the actions are evidencing it. Expectations communicated help us work together, help us receive the result we're looking for. And I've gone way over time on this point. So it is a kindness to let other people know upfront what our expectations are in families and in business, especially in business. When you go into a contract, oh my goodness, when you go into a contract with somebody, it is so important. Why? Because the contract allows us to each know what the expectation is. The clearer the contract, the less likely litigation, the more likely satisfaction and success and profitability in all areas. Yeah, I'm a little passionate on this point. Just bear with. I'll go quickly on the other ones. It is a kindness to let other people know upfront what our expectations are. In many situations, it allows for a collaboration that works for everyone and brings out the best in people. So allow others the opportunity to give you their best and work with you. Okay, conducting communication. Proverbs 15:28. The heart of the godly thinks carefully before speaking. The mouth of the wicked overflows with evil words. How many times have I responded to a work email because I'm frustrated with the situation and some poor administrator on the other end gets lambasted by my harsh email, and then I regret sending it and I have to phone and apologize. Right? So now that we've done the hard work focusing, now that we've done the hard work of fleshing out our expectations, we have a greater understanding of how they can differ. What are the expectations of others? Sorry, I spelled it wrong in here. Just overlook it. Keep going. Why is this important? Taking the time and interest to inquire about someone else's expectations invites them to share with us. This gives us great opportunity to adjust our approach wisely. If I send an email off to somebody and their expectation is a simple, clear, following of what I want them to do, list of what they're to do, a transaction, because they're a transaction processor. Wow, wouldn't that be good to know before I send them the whole backlog, cover letter, history of a client and what we're trying to accomplish? Let's ask somebody, what are your expectations? What are you looking to get out of this? What do you do? This gives us great opportunity to adjust our approach wisely. So if I expect my son to be on time for family gatherings, I need to know that he expects to be awake sometime afternoon. Most likely, possibly after 2 or 3 or 4, depending on the day and what he did the night before. Having taken the time to find this out, I can arrange our gatherings for later afternoon or evening, because our expectation is, well, when Sean was getting up at 4:30 in the morning to get to work on time, our expectation was to be in bed by 9. So those are very different expectations of bedtimes. Finding the middle was totally doable. We just had to do our due diligence. What are his expectations? What are our expectations? Family harmony can be so easily orchestrated. Conducting communication. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the fool does not do so. Proverbs 15:7. The lips of the wise, that's communication. Disperse knowledge, that's communication. We want to communicate what? Knowledge. Why? Because it's wise. This will be a good thing. Knowledge from a wise person. That's good. What do I want to communicate? What is my expectation on what I'm communicating? Our expectations, they speak loudly through our planning and our responses, whether we are aware of them and interacting with them and intentional about them or not. What are they saying? We can inspire those around us and be an encouragement when we take the time to orchestrate our expectations, to speak our values and share our strengths. Got news for you. Most of my clients don't come in and say, hey, Colleen, what are your values? What are your strengths? What are your ethics? I'm not sure it even occurs to any of my clients to ask those questions, but I know they care. Just the other day, I had clients, I went a little red in my cheeks. They thanked me. They told me how much they appreciated my values and my ethics and my morals, that they trusted me and that was valuable to them and that they were grateful. So obviously my clients do care, and yet they don't ask. Why would people not ask about something that matters to them? Many reasons, but for our example today, we're going to go with probably because they were already reading them. They were reading my values, my ethics, my expectations in the questions I asked them, in the way I addressed their business dealings, their portfolio, in the way we set up and tackle risk management and investment strategies by being goals focused rather than return chasing. These are things that communicate my expectations, that communicate my values, that communicate so much about me and my strengths without me ever giving lip service to any of it. Isn't it helpful when our words are in harmony with our expectations? When there's a disconnect there, we notice it. We may not recognize we're noticing it in somebody, but it is there and it evidences. Okay, if I expect peace, I will structure interactions to foster an atmosphere of peace. I will invite other people to come in a spirit of peace. I will present in a way that invites peace. I will adjust my responses to communicate peace, and I will attune myself to peaceful opportunities. All of that flows out of expectations that we talked about last week, that these come from our heart. Experiencing this, others will be far more likely to be inspired to respond and pursue peace themselves. So if a client comes in here and we have a meeting that honors peace, invites peace, and orchestrates a framework to support peace, how likely are they to go out and have a next interaction be peaceful? Extremely. What an impact you can have on those around you when you know what your values are and when you build them and orchestrate your expectations around them so that they're flowing out of an authentic heart to lips that are marrying in harmony and unity with your values, your morals, your ethics, and the expectations all bundled together. We're at 14:33. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being patient this week, as I did feel I had so much to share. Hopefully you found value in it. Hopefully you can take this and apply it, and hopefully you're inspired to take it and apply it. You can get a hold of me at all of these places, and Have a wonderful, wonderful month.